All right, everybody, welcome back to the Live Younger Longer podcast. Again, my name is Jason Harris. This is going to be one of the premier episodes I have with an interview, and I'm excited because it's with a guy that I've known for over 40 years, been a lifelong friend. So as we get into this, today's episode is one that you're going to feel and not just hear, because we're talking about discipline. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about what it truly means to live at your highest state, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. So my guest today just isn't a husband, a father, and a business leader, but he's a man who's taken the grind of running multiple successful restaurants and has turned that intensity inward, mastering the art of discipline and purpose. Todd's the chief operating officer of 5 thriving restaurants, but his real mission goes far beyond the kitchen. He's the founder of 359 Protocol and the Arena Disciplina, 2 powerful movements designed to forge stronger minds, stronger bodies, and stronger leaders. He believes that most people are living underneath their God's given potential, and he's here to challenge that. So if you've ever felt stuck, complacent, or like you're capable of doing more, this conversation is going to shake you, light a fire under you, and remind you what it means to live with meaning, with order, with purpose. So with that, let's step into the arena with Todd. So Todd, welcome to the podcast, man. I really appreciate your time, and super excited about this conversation that we're having, because I've witnessed this journey. I mean, like I said, you and I have known each other for 40 plus years of our life. And it's so cool to be able to see like kind of that journey. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Jason, very much, man. I appreciate the time, brother. It's an honor. Of course, it's been a pleasure to know you these 40 plus years. So we have a lot of fun memories to laugh about. So
yeah, actually for sure. In the pre-show, we're actually laughing about some of those memories just growing up, and man, it's been an exciting journey. And what's always been fun for me is seeing. It's interesting because we never really talked about it throughout the life, but we both kind of went down this entrepreneurial path, and seeing. I mean, that's one of the things I strive, or I live off of, is seeing my friends successful, seeing them grow and change and evolve, and seeing all that. And man, it's super cool. So if you would, man, that's something that I am interested in, is like, what even started you down that entrepreneurial journey? You graduated from Texas Tech, and you kind of got out in the world, but what got you into wanting to be an entrepreneur and to tackle that kind of grind?
Well, my first entrepreneurial experience was toting around a piece of cardboard and a boombox around the neighborhood and breakdancing for a quarter.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we would knock on doors and ask if we could break dance for a quarter, and that was the beginning of the entrepreneurial adventure that it is, the grind that it is. And I guess you fast forward, did Wingstop back in 1999. Back in my day, my parents and I actually started the first Wingstop in Houston, and so over the course of 20-something years, I've taken over the restaurants. Over the course of time, although Wingstop is my I love it, it's my livelihood, but it's not my deepest passion. And I've learned that, kind of helping people become more disciplined in nature has become a huge passion of mine. And that's kind of the genesis of the Arena Disciplina and the 359 Protocol. So it's been a great adventure.
Well, one thing that I always admired, because I know I've had friends that have had other franchises, owned Subways, owned Wendy's, things like that. And one of the things they used to joke about as they transitioned a little bit was they felt like they ran a teenage daycare center. They felt like with them, it seemed like there was a ton of turnover and a ton of just really hard to have really good key people. And I know we talked about this in the past, where it seems like you've been able to develop a great team with great loyalty, with people that stay around for a long time, which of course is great leverage for you, because you have people you can trust that can run it, gives you some of your time where you're not constantly having to be in multiple restaurants, just really, for lack of a better word, babysitting people, right? What do you think one of those keys were where you were able to develop that kind of loyalty from your employees?
Well, I can actually recall the moment. I mean, I had a big culture shift, mind shift. So I was this, I don't know, a arrogant restaurant owner, who wasn't serving anybody, including myself, with that kind of mentality. And I had gotten a corporate inspection in one of my locations and got like a 40, which is terrible, right? And but at the time, I didn't care because sales were good. Like literally, sales were good. I got a 40 on my evaluation, and I didn't care. And so it kind of dawned me. I think God kind of flicked me on the forehead and said, "No, we don't conduct ourselves that way. We do care."
Right.
And I got chills thinking about it right now. No, we do care about that. I mean, sales are inconsequential. We do
Right.
care about having a 40. We want to be 100 because we can fall back from 100. I mean, if you have a 40% mindset or whatever it was at the time, there was nothing to fall back on other than greater failure.
Right.
So this 100% mindset, I at least have something to fall back on, but still in the realm of like performance. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was probably about 10, 12 years ago, that little shift. And and so basically I had to have a vision for the company, for the restaurants, and then stick with the vision. What kind of culture do I want? Stick be consistent, and then stick with it and follow through. And praise the Lord, this is how we just do stuff now. It's just how
Right.
we do stuff. We're just high performers. That's just it.
Yeah. And I saw that that example because I'm a guy with our business. Sometimes I have to bottom line and run events, and I know all of the back end that goes into that, right? All the planning, all the AV, just all the crazy nonsense that goes into that. And I heard a talk that Charlie Kirk was given to his staff, and that's what he was requiring. Like it was a really strong message to his staff about excellence, how we operate. If you can't operate at this level, this might not be the place for you. We love you, but you might need a different spot or just a different place. And when I saw his memorial and what his people put together in 6 days, I mean, I looked at Vanessa and I was like, this is a level of impressiveness that
I thought the
they,
same thing.
multiple arenas, all the AV, all the people, all the tech, like to pull that off in 6 days. It really showed how his level of excellence translated through his people, where they were able to not only deal with a tragedy but also perform at that kind of level. Dude, I was like, and so when you were talking about that, that's really what it reminded me of just now, because I was like, that is that's a level. Like I was so impressed. Like I was like, I mean, I normally have 3 to 6 months, and still at the last minute, sometimes you're like, it's all those last minute or there's glitches or all, and for that to run so smooth again with multiple arenas, broadcasting it all over the world, like it was insane. But that's where it kind of starts with that leader and that leadership mentality of what do you expect? What are your true expectations? And are you willing to push your people to to operate at that level? So that again, with you now, I know that if you and your wife and your son want to go off, or I mean, you could probably leave for a month and not even really have to worry too much, because it's like a little bit.
You're right on that. But I love what I do though. I love I
Right.
love being here. You're probably accurate with that. I love being here. I love having a finger on the pulse of the business. I love interacting with my people, my staff. So, but you're probably right actually.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, when we talk about especially as we get older, as we age, and I think that's what's cool, because I think what you were talking about, that shift, a lot of it too was just kind of maturity of going into it, and then what am I expecting out of myself, and then going into, okay, I'm going to hold myself to this standard, but because I'm holding myself, I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to be disciplined in my habits and my expectations. That's obviously going to translate down, because ultimately, I mean, we've both been entrepreneurs for a long time. People need to. We're going to push people to rise up to that level, and if they don't, that's where that crucible moment comes in for them. But it's like we expect that kind of excellence for lack of a better word, right? To perform at a level that we expect them to perform. And then it translates down because, again, it allows us to have a lot more trust, a lot more freedom, a lot more, different areas of our life to where we can, like, we know what we've created and it multiplies throughout, right? It's kind of that exponential growth that happens throughout the whole team because everybody's expected to perform at that kind of level.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And then that's kind of the genesis of the Arena Disciplina, because I believe, and I want to speak for you, but I think you're probably the same mindset, that we are each our own little company. Like we are each a company, and we have to we need to be a disciplined company to thrive to the company or the person that we want to be. What do we want for ourselves, and to a high degree, we want that for ourselves. We have to implement some different disciplines. Sometimes the level of thinking that got us to where we are, sometimes that same level of thinking won't get us out of where we are.
yeah,
And that's part of the blinders that need to be exposed a little bit, and to get, okay, my mindset got me here. Now my mindset needs to get me out of here. So I need to have a little shift, you know. And it takes some introspection for that. And also, I think it takes some loving friends, Christian men of God who want the best for you, and say, "Hey, Jason, you're not showing up. Hey, Todd, you're not showing up, man. What's up?" You know,
right.
and that 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 loving truth and kindness will kind of catapult us. I believe, at least it did me, at least. This is my own experience. It'll catapult us to a different level of thinking. Let's open up some blinders. Let's get really wide here. What's up? You know,
Right.
and then again, that's where the arena comes in. It helps people, you know, uh, just grow, develop, open up some blinders.
hmm That reminds me of years ago. I worked at AT&T. I was at a school up in Dallas, and I ended up going to. It was almost right next door to TD Jakes Church, and this was back 20 plus years ago. And I kind of heard of this guy, and I was like, "Well, his church is right there. It's Wednesday night. Let me go." And he wasn't there. It was a guest speaker. Man, it was a little black lady that was probably, I don't know, 5'2". Like, she was tiny but powerful, and she told that story about Elijah in the Bible, where he was constantly being pursued by the king. The king was trying to kill him, but being a prophet, he knew the king's plan, so he was always thwarting those plans. Until one day, they were camping one way, him and his servant. His servant woke up, and they were completely surrounded. You're right, the king's army was there, and of course, I'm paraphrasing the story, but the servant walked into Elijah and was like, "Dude, we're cooked. Like we're either dead or captured or both. Like, we're done." And Elijah calmly walked out, put his arm around him, and was like, "God, open his eyes, like, take the blinders off." And and then when he did that, he saw God's army around the king's army, right? And God blinded them. They let them out. They were fine. But her whole point was that that's how a lot of us walk through life, right? We don't recognize opportunities to whether it's in business or in growth. We don't see opportunities in our marriage. Like, we just walk around with these little blinders on our face all the time. And he's like, you got to take those off and really see, like, what is the purpose? What is the purpose God has for your life? And don't be stuck in these boxes. I think that's what so many people's problem is in today's world. They feel pigeonholed, where they feel like they don't have any opportunity. They don't have, any ability to get out of their situation because they're just walking around. In the book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, he talks about this, walking around the hypnotic rhythm of life, right? Where they get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, repeat for 40 years. And they don't ever really go after their purpose, their vision, their their dreams, right? Or they just kind of just settle. And the devil laughs. He's like, this is how I have control over so many people, because they don't have any definite main purpose. So I just keep them in this hypnotic rhythm to where they just are going. And I see that so much in America. And I talk to people all the time. I'm like, dude, you hate your job. Like, why don't you do something else? And they're like, well, I've been here 10 years, 15 years. What else am I supposed to do? Anything. Like, go after your passions, man. Like, what drives you? What wakes you up in the morning? So with that, like, I know you had started your restaurants in the late 90s, but what happened to where what was the catalyst for you wanting to go down this road to start the arena, and then to go into also with your workout programs with the 359 protocol, because you were successful. I mean, you're doing good in your restaurants. I know there was a lot of journey. We could talk about that entrepreneurial journey for a long time, because we both been through it, where it's, what seemed like a good idea in the moment turned out to be a not not a good idea. But what was that shift that said, okay, this is something I really want to pursue, and really build this community of people that want to get to that next level, to want to live a life of discipline? What was that?
It's a good question. So back in probably 2005, I had started a boot camp style training called Sweat Blood Training, and it was successful. It was great, and I actually got introduced to CrossFit, as a matter of fact. And so I abandoned my boot camp, my Sweat Blood Training, to kind of devote time to CrossFit, and learned a lot. Learned a lot in CrossFit. I actually coached for a long time and everything, and it was great. Okay, now I've kind of left CrossFit. I'm doing the 359 protocol, which is great now, but it's not. But I don't want to put too much emphasis on shape and physique, although it's important. But it's not everything. That's why I like to say getting the best state of our life, not just the best shape of our life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the best state includes shape, our physique, but it also includes our mental health, our acuity, our quickness, our wit, our critical thinking, all those kinds of things. What's our state of thought? What's our emotional state? What's our mental state? What's our spiritual state? I mean, all those are so important. All those things make up our best state.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to limit my mindset, at least, to just big muscles, hardened
Right.
muscles. No, it's way beyond that. It's the more sustaining things. And so anyway, the 359, the Arena Disciplina, every week the adherent, the member of the arena gets a workout. Okay, that's the 359 protocol, which we can talk about. But anyway, but they also get things that push them differently beyond just physique or exercise, which are mentally challenging things every single week. So they get these two challenges, and they can either accept it or not accept it. Like you know, it's up to them, right? They still have the level of volition to do the thing, right? They have a
Right.
level of discipline to do the thing or not. Now,
Mm-hmm.
upon executing the thing, well, you've shown some discipline, right? And so the idea is that it kind of builds on top of each other to where, oh, it's just what I do. I just make my bed in the morning. I mean, I just stretch every morning. That's just what I do. I mean, versus the grind of I gotta stretch, or I gotta make the bed, or I gotta be a man of my word, or all this stuff. No. I just am. I just what I am, right?
Right.
To the grace of God, right? Because the whole thing is that in Colossians 3:23, we're told to do everything to glory of God. Everything.
Right.
Whether it's folding that towel, or whether it's grinding through an hour and a half workout that leaves you just slunk over. I
Right.
mean, do everything to the glory of God, right? And if you say you're going to do the thing, if you say you're going to fold that towel, or if you say you're going to work out, well, you just said it. Like that's it. That's it. Like there's
Right.
there's no there's no wiggle room anymore. You said you do it, so do it. That's it,
Right.
right? And so now if Jason says, "Hey, I'm going to fold that towel," cool. He doesn't even need a reminder because he said he'll do it, and lo and
Right.
behold, the towel's folded. And that's the level of like high. Yeah, the thing is, it's not hard. It's
Right.
not hard to be a high achiever, right? You just fold a towel. You just
Right.
work. You just make your bed. You just do the thing, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things too. And we both deal with people on kind of a different level. I partner with a lot of people throughout our team in direct sales, which it's kind of building up leadership, but you also have it through the employees. It's kind of the same thing. I'm just not paying people to show up, right? But it's kind of that same thing, and I know that we deal with that mindset, because I think there's so many times where sadly people don't value keeping their word to themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they compromise that so easily. Like, yeah, yeah, I said I was gonna work out today, but I'm tired. I'm not gonna do it. Or I said I'm gonna eat cleaner, but I'm gonna go get some fast food, or just whatever that is. It's amazing how many people are willing to compromise with themselves or break their word to themselves. And like in your mindset, like how detrimental is that? Like just to
Well, yeah, I would call it destructive almost, because if you
right,
can't keep your own word to yourself, then how can anyone else depend on your word, you know? And so something I want to be, Todd want to be, I want to be a dependable man. I want people to know they can depend on me. But the only way they can depend on me is if I say I'll do what I'll say I'll do. If I do what I'll say what I'll do, you know?
right.
So
Yeah, and I've been a part of your community, I think since 2002, man, and it's really fun, man, because I know throughout we get emails every week, we have challenges every week. I don't think I've ever read as much Latin until I start getting your emails because there's always a quote in there for it, but it's really cool because I know you have multiple aspects in this to help people develop because at the end of the day it gets down to habits, right? And there's a book by Og Mandino called the Greatest Salesman in the World, and he has these scrolls, but number one is we're basically a slave to habits, whether they're good habits or bad habits. We're a slave to habits. And I think through your journey, like how important did it become where it's just habitual, like you don't even think about, like you were just saying, keeping your word to yourself, right? Because it's just what I do now. Like you don't even like it's auto like you're so unconsciously competent in that area now because you've just practiced it, for so many times
yeah, and I
or
like
for
to
so
add,
many years.
I would like to add to that, you know, there's no need to do a promise either. There's no reason to like swear on a stack of Bibles, right?
Right.
Because I said I would do it. Like that's it. And so
Right.
my 6-year-old, he'll ask me if I'll you know do something, and he'll say, "Daddy, do you promise?" I said, "Samuel, I don't need to promise. I said I would do it. That's it." Right? And so anyway, so I think it's also important to have things we say actually mean something, like have some weight to it. We need to our calendar entries need to have weight to it. I mean, it may be a different kind of weight, like a family emergency or whatever family related has a greater weight than folding that towel, right? But the towel's going to get folded because there's a weight attached to it, right? And I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but I hope you get kind of the idea.
Right. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Arena Disciplina, like because I know you have life mods in there to kind of help people, kind of develop
Yeah,
really a life of discipline, right?
so
So
good.
if you would, and we're going to attach a bunch of links to the description of this, so if people are interested in joining the arena, it's you can't spend your money at a better spot. Like it's super high value for what it'll add to your life. But what are some of the things through the arena that people can expect that you offer them through that?
Well, gosh. So the life mod, the lifestyle modification, the life mod, it's a 90-day program that actually allows treat days, not cheat days.
Right.
Okay, it allows treat days. Now, the whole idea of, like, I think the word discipline is like a 4-letter word, or it's just like has this like bad connotation to it or whatever.
Right.
No, man, discipline is power. Discipline is freedom. But also discipline, as far as I'm concerned, it allows some drift. Okay. So if I drift, that doesn't mean I am adrift. Okay. So if I drift, well, I'm disciplined enough to kind of get back on track. Like I have a morning routine I do every single solitary morning. It's just what I do. However, I may not do it a day or two because and you can say I had drifted from that routine, but I'm not adrift. I'll just simply get back on track and do my morning routine. No big deal. All right.
Right.
So anyway, the lifestyle modification, it's a 90-day program that people can do, and it's electronically. They can indicate whether they had a treat day or a discipline day, and each discipline day has different things associated with what would make a discipline day, including exercise, including water intake, including different nutritional standards, including making your bed, including reading, including journaling, all these different things that lend itself to a disciplined life.
Yeah, it's and most people don't think about that. Like I said on my last episode, it was really all about mental health, and I really talked about how people can stay mentally sharp through their 70s and 80s, right? Because your brain's like a muscle; you got to continue to train it, and it boggles my mind how many people get out of school and never pick up a book again, or they never journal their thoughts, or they never. And I'm sure that you've seen this too, Vanessa. My wife, she pulled out a book the other day. It was probably 2, 3 years old, and it was some goals and different visions and goals that we had for our business, and we hadn't looked at it in years, and about 60-70% we had done, like, not even realizing that we had wrote down that goal, like, journaled that goal down, and done it, right? And so and I think that's a report. I think there's so much. Your shirt actually reminded me of it, of such a big part of life sometimes is reflection, of really looking. But there's so many people that don't see the value. Like I know there's a lot of people maybe listening is like, what's the point in journaling? What's the point in I know one of your life mods, and I know you have 4 different sections of it, but, throughout, it's like, make your bed, and I remember hearing that speech from, I believe he's a naval commander or Navy SEAL commander, but he's like, "Make your bed every day." Like, that's how success starts. Like, the simple little things of, like, accomplishing something. Right? Like first thing in the morning, like do something and accomplish something. But I think reflection is such a big deal, and writing down your thoughts, writing down your goals and dreams, right? It talks about that in Habakkuk, where it's like write the vision plain. Like what is your, I guess it's living a life of intent versus living a life of, well, whatever happens happens, like the sailboat with no rudder, no sail, no anything, right? You're just drifting in the sea, not doing nothing. But actually having intent through your life, and it's those little things that I know a big part of it is not only a lot of the nutritional and exercise part, but like reading every day, like expanding your mind, working your brain so you are sharp mentally, not just look good physically, because who cares how great you look if your mind is garbage, right? Like you're just not expanding in all areas. And that's what I love about it. It's such an all-encompassing program that you've made so simple and easy. I love reading through your blogs that you post every day, your perspectives that you give out every week, and and everything. And I know they've challenged me sometimes where I'm like, oh man, that's such a good point, or I need to think about this differently. And it's those little things that I think we all need in our life, so that we are challenged, that again, just like you said, we get stuck in our normal, and sometimes we need people. And again, that's where I value our relationship over the years, because I know if there was ever anything I need to go to, I could get truth and godly counsel from a friend that will tell me the truth and what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. So we need to have these circles of people around us, but also just having a simple program that anybody could follow, that helps to kind of, again, wake their brain up a little bit, or to get them to do stuff they weren't normally doing. And I know, through this journey and what you've built, you've seen that difference in your life. I mean, I know on your website, you're showing your before and after pictures, which you've always been a pretty active guy, but sometimes we get stuck in those states where we just kind of let things go.
Yeah. You've seen that picture. Yeah, man. I mean, so these two pictures here, so they're two Latin phrases that really impacted me. One that said "memento mori," which means "you too soon shall die," essentially. Okay, and then one that is "ferociter uh, gradatum." Okay, and which is that? Well, that the gradatum ferociter means step by step ferociously. And so I came across these two Latin phrases going, man, I love those things. Well, then I came across these two pictures going, each one exemplifies each of those Latin phrases. You too soon shall die, step by step ferociously. You know, and that's where the 359 protocol kind of comes in, because with the protocol training, man, it's, I don't know, I have all of my exercise and training up to founding the protocol training has contributed to what has become the 359 protocol, where it encompasses power, strength, and speed. You know, basically 3 reps at an overload, 5 reps for load, and then 9 reps for an underload, power, strength, and speed. And it's just, I don't know, it's just been a game changer for me on the exercise front. And so whenever you become an adherent, if somebody becomes an adherent, every week they get a workout based off the protocol training.
Yeah. And what I love about the protocol training, and this kind of goes into, I've said throughout a lot of episodes, it's, to live younger, longer, it's multiple aspects of life. I think it encompasses your faith, your finances, your wellness, right? Your mental state, all these things. And what I love about, which I have kind of my normal routine, but what I love about the 359, it's something simple that I can just add to. And the fact that no matter the level of person, no matter their state, they could be in the worst shape of their life or be in a really good shape. It's still going to push you the same way. I mean, I think, both of us were in the CrossFit world for a long time. And, people used to you say, well, I didn't go as fast as you. I was like, we all look the same at the end of the workout. No matter, if you did it right, no matter where you started, like you could be a beginner athlete or a seasoned, but we pretty much all look the same at the end, right? Because we're pushing ourselves to what our limits are. But what I love about your stuff is the average person can do it. You don't need a gym. You don't need all this equipment. It's just a very simple way to again push your body in different ways. I did one of your workouts the other day, man, and it had a ton of ab work, and I realized like, man, I hadn't done hollow rocks in a long time, man, and just some of these exercises, I was like, I mean, my abs were cooked at the end of
Yeah.
this thing,
You're right.
and it was something I could just really do at the house. I didn't have to worry about it, and so that's what I love about those two. Because if I'm traveling, if I'm doing different things, it's such a simple program that anybody can do. So, I really I've enjoyed it a lot because it's like, um, I don't know if accessory work's the right word to use for my personal training, but it's just something to add in to expand. Again, I don't think I think we limit our capabilities way too much in so many
100%. I
areas,
mean, that I think that's probably the biggest understatement of the year right there. And that's the whole idea, man, is that, my goal is to make sure people don't sell themselves short. Like, when I train people at the gym, I say, listen, I'm not here to be your trainer. I'm just here to make sure you don't sell yourself short. That's it. Okay. And I will make sure they don't sell themselves short. Okay. And I'll make sure they don't live underneath their God given capacity. And those, if I can do those two things while living out the Great Commission at the same time, then I'm doing my job, you know? But you're right. People, man, they go from self-deprecating comments like, "Oh, I have such big feet, ha 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 ha," to self-debasing comments. I can't do this. I'm terrible, or whatever the thing is, right? No,
Mhm.
I can't even handle it. Even just saying that is like, oh, ugh, bugs me so much. So it's okay to stay in self-deprecating because it's like, good humor. You're inviting someone to kind of laugh with you, right? Um, then there's self-defeating comments. Then there's the completely self-debasing comments, and those are we want to just shun, right? And so yeah, I guess my whole goal with the arena and the protocol training is to make sure that we like completely leave those mindsets behind and adopt this mindset of like, okay, well, I may not be perfect. And I'm not striving for that. And that's cool, right? I mean, but I'm going to do the best I can, literally do the best I can. And I'm not going to sell myself short.
Right. I mean, you kind of hit on something that's really big. Is especially how we age and how we get older is those words that we speak. I'm a very simple Bible believing guy, right? And I read in the Bible. I got saved in April 2000, like truly saved, where I started my relationship with God. And I started reading things where it says, by the words we are redeemed, or by our words we're condemned, or by the confession of our faith we're brought unto salvation, right? Like, and I was thinking, okay, if my words have that much power when it comes to my eternal salvation, like I can't just think it like, okay, am I going to confess that Jesus is Lord, right? Like he is my savior, he is my Lord, and truly ask him into my life. And then we get around people And they've even done kinesiology studies where it's like, okay, we're going to arm wrestle. And before we do it, you're going to say, I can't win, right? Just like words, like just saying you can't, you're physically weaker, And so, and I know you've probably seen it in the gym too, multiple times where, we might be about to do a heavy lift or go for a 1 rep max. And people are looking at the bar. They're like, I can't do it. Or they're even shaking their head no. And I'm like, don't even try it. Like if that's your attitude starting, don't eat because you've already mentally, cut it out. And when you're talking about those words, how many times do you hear that constantly? People are, it's crazy. If we were to talk to those people, how they talk about themselves, they probably wouldn't want to be friends with us. Right? Because,
You'd be in a fist fight every day.
right, right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Like when an athlete approaches a bar and they're looking at it, they're all intimidated and stuff like that, and then they kind of grab the bar, but I can still sense their level of intimidation. I'm like, hold on, step back, release the bar. I want you to regroup, and I want you to regrip. And
right,
so, once they've kind of regrouped and they regrip, you know, usually it's a different outcome, but sometimes it's not, and that's okay
right.
too, right? I mean, that's okay too.
But it's getting in that mental state that I can, right? I can do this versus I can't, or like you said, you're that you've defeated yourself before you even tried because of a mindset. And I think that's what I love about everything that you put together between your 359 protocol and the arena. It's again, just like you said, it's not just a physical piece of it, but it's a mental piece where it's sharpening our minds to showing what we can do. And we know, even on a subconscious level, that our subconscious brain doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. Like it doesn't know fact or fiction. It just knows what we tell it. And so, it's having that attitude of like, well, I want a new car, but I can't afford it. Your subconscious brain says you're right. Right. You can't. And it just shuts off. Like it's like, I'm
Right,
done. Like
right.
I can't.
Three hands up.
Right. It's literal and obedient, right? Our subconscious mind's literal and obedient, right? I can't. But then if you shift that mindset, okay, how can I afford it? Oh, now you gave your subconscious brain something to think about. It's like, okay, yeah, here's a problem to solve. And what's crazy is I read a book one time. It talked about your subconscious mind operates at 9 to the 27th power per second. I don't even know how to write that number, but it's every second of the day. It never shuts off. And so, I think that's what's so important. Like, when you're talking about journaling or you're talking about doing these different things, when you get those inspirations, because it's like, oh, I can't afford this. Okay, you're right. No, how can I? Oh, well, here's this idea on how I can generate new cash flow, or I can do this, or I can cut this expense out of my life. Because
Yeah, man.
again, when you're talking about discipline, living that disciplined life, whether it's in your faith walk, in your finances, in your marriage, in your words to yourself. And I think that's what's so big. We talked about earlier about just keeping your word to yourself, because you know, uh, if you're going to break your word to you, you should love yourself enough, right, to keep your word to yourself. And if we're going to sit here and get to this point where we're going to break our word to ourselves, and is it that much of a compromise to break our word to our wife, or to break our word to our kids, or our employees, or the people we work with? Or it just kind of hand grenades down, because if we don't value it enough to keep it to ourselves, what's the point? And I think that's what I've always enjoyed, about just the aspect of discipline, right? It encompasses everything,
Right, right.
and our words are
I think
so powerful.
I think if people can abandon the idea that this word discipline is like a punishment, you
Right,
know, then that's like the first step. No, okay, this discipline idea is like, it's like power, so it's like a good thing,
right.
and it all built on top of each other. But yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's, again, what's so cool about what you put together, that, whether you're already a high achieving person, or somebody that's really looking to make a major change in their life, it's value. There's so much value that you give week after week after week to make it simple. You've lined it all out. It's very simple, and you've afforded it to people where I mean, I get pitched coaching programs all the time for thousands of dollars, right? Like, it's not that like anybody can do this if they want to create a life of discipline so that in all areas of their life, they are, I love the line of getting the most life out of every year. I don't know how long I'll be here, but you just turned 50. I'm almost turning 50. It's like I want to be in the best shape of my life at 50. And then at 51, I want to be and not only in the best shape, but also mentally. I want to be mentally strong and be able to operate at a high level on that and to continue just to be just operating at those levels. And I've had so much like I said, so much value. As like, man, this is such a simple, program and simple works. Right? It doesn't have to be this complicated thing, and I think that's what, I really enjoyed about what you did, and that's why I wanted to bring it to the people that are watching this podcast is, here's a phenomenal tool that you can plug into no matter where you are if you're wanting to get to that next level of life in all areas of your life,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, what are some of the main, if you were going to break down the arena and even if you want to go into your 359, but like what are if people join, like what is the main things that your intent is for them to really get out of the arena?
Well, it's less than $60 a year for people to join. It's less than $5 a month to invest in yourself as how I look at it, which is nothing, right? I mean, it's not like, I don't know, it's a coffee somewhere.
Right. Not even.
Yeah, exactly. It's less than a coffee somewhere.
Right.
I mean, I guess the idea is that if someone needs to put some skin in the game, if the skin in the game is $60 a year, well, that's a worthy amount of skin in the game to adopt potentially a life-changing mentality, in the form of discipline in different areas of your life. And that's the goal. I just want to like assist towards getting in the best state of your life. That's my goal. And again, I'm so passionately I so passionately believe that discipline, whether it's folding the towel or working out or whatever the thing is, adds to getting in the best state of our life to where we become dependable enough that he just is. He just does the thing. I don't have to depend on. He doesn't need a reminder. But I mean, I don't know, man. I just it's again, like you said, it's not hard. This is easy. Like this is easy. This is like low hanging fruit here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for some reason I don't know. We put the great before the good or whatever the thing is. I like to think that, whenever we're presented an idea, okay, either the idea is like, oh, the best idea ever. I'm gonna make $1 million or whatever, or the idea is, oh, I'll never succeed. I'll never excel at that or whatever. No, no, no. I need to be right here in the middle. We need to be right here in the middle. Just stay measured. Just stay focused. Just persevere through the thing, whatever it is. Okay. And it won't be easy. I mean, no one's saying it'll be easy. Okay. But you can do it. You can do it. So stay
Right.
stay focused, really. Stay disciplined.
Well, and two, and man, in so many areas, I know, in my experience, even growing up, my parents were like that. Like I didn't have to think, or to me, it added so much security as a child because I knew if my parents said it, it was going to happen, right? Like it just they kept their word. And that's how this thing can translate so much into so many. So if you start being accountable and disciplined to yourself, and if you need help, find a group of people that will keep you accountable, right? That will keep you, on the right path and kind of hold you to it. Like I love even when some of our team that come and say, "Hey man, you were doing this. Can I give you some feedback?" Of course, like please, like because I want to be better. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better husband, or a better father. I want to be these things, and I strive to continue to do it. But you know, I can tell you that, I know your boy just turned 7 or about to, and it's having that security of knowing dad said it, and he'll do what he says. That's such a huge thing. Like so many people discount that or they don't understand the impact that it has where if you're a man that keeps your word, that's a value that I think so many people discount of just not willing to, like I said, just keep their word. Well, I said I was do it, but I'm tired. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I said I'd show up to the saying. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna
Right, and it just can be justified with, "What difference does it make?" Or, "It's not the end of the world." I mean, come on, it's not the end of the world, you know?
right,
And it's so easy to justify not keeping our word, right? I mean, it's easy. Well, whatever is easy to do is easier not to do, right?
right.
So, if it's easy to fold that towel, it's even easier not to do it, what difference does it make? No one's gonna care, you know? But no, it matters.
Well, I think when you get into to the word discipline, and then you look at where compromise comes in, and if you're willing to compromise the little, will you compromise the big? Or, if you're known as that person that doesn't really keep the word or compromises on their commitments, then when something does big come up and you're like, hey, I got this great idea. I'd love to do this with you. They're like, oh, like you didn't even say you didn't even keep that meeting or whatever that might be, and I was like, man, you're not one that dependable, right? Yeah, like you don't keep your word a lot. So it translates into so much others. And most people don't even think about it because unconsciously they're so used to compromising their, especially in today's world, compromising their word, compromising their values, compromising their morals. They just want to fit in. They don't want to, buck the system. They don't want to, be the difference maker in their life because they're like, oh man, it's easier to just go along to get along and to be like normal. And I think that's one thing I love about what you do. Like you challenge people like to be the best version of yourself and don't compromise with your faith, with your morals, with your word, like in so many different areas because so many people do that. We see it constantly in
Sure.
today's world
Yeah,
where it's like,
and of course, all those things will be tested. Like our metal will be tested, mettle. Like our metal will be tested. The way I like to look at the word metal is that basically to smile through the grit, to
mhm,
still have joy through the grit.
right,
And if I and the thing is, I'm at a point now, I want my metal to be rattled. I want to rattle my metal. I want my metal tested because I want to test myself. Hey, am I doing the thing I'm like touting? Well, I'm gonna be very aware of the way I'm reacting to this crisis or to this negative thing, right?
right,
So, I kind of, embrace the rattling of my metal, but I wanna respond to it well, you know? And if for some reason, I'm gonna be very aware as to why I didn't, right?
right. Well, and that's something that I love about, like, even I know you challenge yourself all the time and you're loud about it. Like you let people know because like when you're doing a hard challenge about something, like you're pretty public about it and you talk about it. So like, again, now you have to do it because you've told people. Right? Like I'm gonna do this. We are talking before we started the show about your 4x4x48, right? And I was like, you talk about testing your metal.
Rough. Yeah. That was that David Goggins challenge, 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So over 48 hours, I ran 48 miles, and like I told you in the pre-show, that the middle, 16 miles, or was it 12 miles? But anyway, man, my mettle was tested. My posture was deteriorated, my running gait deteriorated, my attitude deteriorated. I remember praying like at 4 a.m., God, just give me some resilience. Give me the resilience to get through this. And again, I got chills, but he gave me, he lent that to me. He afforded me that, and I was so grateful. But yeah, I got through the whole thing and did the thing. So all power to God, man.
Yeah. And I think that's where we really get to it where no matter what journey you're in the middle of, like that moment happens no matter what it is, whether it's in our marriage, whether it's in our fatherhood, whether it's in our businesses, whether it's in a workout. Like we all hit those middle points of like where you're questioning everything, your attitude kind of goes down. And you're like, man, can I even do this? Do I even want to do this anymore? Because it would have been super easy for you to hit that alarm clock at 4 a.m. saying, screw this. Like I am
Tell me about it.
tired.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do this later. I am not, I'm not waking up and getting my shoes on and freaking running another because how easy it would have been to be like, I've done enough. Like I've done half of it. That's good enough. I got up at midnight, you know, or even that last little bit. But once you push through it, and I think for so many people, and I know you and I have seen it a million times in different workouts, when you kind of crest that halfway point or you're getting toward that end, you're like, oh, like it just shifts where it's like, oh, yeah, I can do this, or I'm at the end, and then how, like again, how amazing mentally did it feel when you hit that last stinking mile, right? And you're like,
Oh, no. It was so good, man. Yeah, it was really cool. And then, yeah, what like a mini goal within this goal was to still make it to church. So I had done my 8 a.m. run. I still made it to church like at I don't know 9:30 I think it was, and then I had to leave church. Right, I had to leave to make my noon run, which was my last run. So, but that was a little mini goal within the goal, right? That's just another example actually is like playing while playing long ball, play short ball. Like it's the mini goals within the goal, right? Within the quest. That's I don't know, man. I mean, now it's just kind of a fun game at this point. Yeah, just talk about the David Goggins thing, the 4x4x48. It was a rough one, but it was good.
well, and you're talking about like the mini goals within the goals. And I think that's what's important too when we're going along these journeys, to have some of those smaller deals in the midst of something massive, right? Where you can feel that sense of accomplishment that gives you a little more energy that again, mentally, whether subconsciously or consciously, you're like, oh, I can do this. Like, oh, I did that. Okay, if I did that one, I can do another one. And I can just having so having that massive goal and then kind of breaking that down. We do it with our team a lot, where it's like, all right, here's where you want to be at end of year. All right, let's take it half the year, quarter, month, week. What are you doing today? Just to
Yeah,
accomplish it. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, guys, like I said, we're going to be posting all the links to Todd's programming through the Arena Disciplina and the 359 protocol. Again, to help you get, like he said, in the best state of your life, right? Not just in the best shape, because it's all encompassing. It's a mental challenge, it's a physical challenge, it's a habitual challenge, right? To create good new habits so that you can live life to the fullest in all areas of your life, and again to live that disciplined life, because and I think that's what you had said a minute ago. People have that negative connotation because all of our life we're told we're about to be disciplined, right? And I know when me growing up, that was with a belt.
Yeah,
So it
right.
was like, we have this, and I think people have, between discipline and accountability, people look at those as a negative. And when you embrace them, it's such a man, it will change your life in ways I don't think most people really understand. What those two um, attributes will do to you. You know what I mean? So really appreciate your time, man. I was super excited to have my first interview with a lifelong friend. But I thought of you first because I know the value you brought to my life over the last almost 4 years now through this one protocol, not including the value you brought through our entire life, man. So it's been a amazing journey, and I know we're not even middle aged yet, so we're
She's a new 30, man. Come on.
that's right. You're only as old as you are mentally, right? Like so. But yeah, man, just enjoying life, man. I've enjoyed this life with you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know it's a crazy time for you, but really appreciate your time, man. Thanks so
Thank you,
much.
Jason, very much, brother. Appreciate it, brother. All right. Thanks.
Yes, sir.